Close your eyes and imagine you're a bird, and that bird is a white and grey seagull with a yellow beak and red beady eyes, circling high above Brighton Beach, and you are starving. Looking down and you circle above the pier. You see a father and a son joyfully playing on the beach, but you do notice that the dad is joyfully munching on hot, steamy, fluffy seaside chips. Oh, they look good to your starving little seagull belly. But as luck would have it, you see a black and yellow bumblebee chasing after the father's son, and as the little boy runs to the father, he bashes into him at high speed and knocks those fluffy, yellow, hot, steaming, beautiful chips onto the sandy beach. This is your moment. You go into full dive mode, circling and tunnelling faster and faster until you swoop down and expertly pick up a soft, juicy, warm, velvety, fluffy, brown and yellow, golden yellow brown chip, and you munch it deliciously inside of you. You've been starving for days, but then you realise that you're not actually a seagull, you're a human, and that is not actually a chip. It is actually the 100% real podcast that you've been waiting for so long. Welcome to you, one and all. Whew, now that was one hell of an intro. Let me know what you thought of that. Anyway, God, where have I been? I've been procrastinating. I was meant to do a video on Sunday, and I tried to do some hacking in my VR headset into a Nerf gun turret, but that's another story. That kind of went wrong because there's so many variables that could go wrong with that, and it's another story, but I'll tell you about that probably in the next podcast. But this story is going to be about the time I nearly lost my life by getting hit on the head by a gypsy with a tomahawk because of being a dick when I was 14 years old. Now, it's a bit of a long story, so get comfortable, whether you're in the gym, in the car, cycling to work. I listen to podcasts quite a lot cycling to work, along the Redways in Milton Keynes. What a beautiful city. I love it. Just enjoying my lemon and ginger green tea. I'm trying to stay away from caffeine at this time of night. It's actually 8 p.m. or 2000 hours if you're that way inclined. But anyway, the story goes back, way back before the internet. Just before the internet came out, probably about 3 or 4 years before the internet came out, when I was 14 years old and still in school in Hartlepool, my hometown. On that day, I was halfway between Gillen Shops and Ambwood Walk, where I lived, sat at an electricity substation, as you do, smoking rollies or cigarettes. I can't remember what it was, but we were smoking something, me and my friends, and I will disguise their names just to protect their identity. One of them's dead, so you won't care, but the other ones might. So I was sat with my friends. Hang on a minute, I've got a phone call. Hello?
Jim.
What?
Need to do the favour.
Oh, come on, mate. I'm in the middle of trying to record a podcast here. What's up?
Can you go down to my room? I'm going to guide you.
Hang on. Oh, God. My podcast, man. Getting right into the floor of it, then. Yeah, so it was back in December of 1994, I do believe. And I was 14 years old. And we were sat on an electricity substation halfway in between Gillen Shops and my house, but further on from my house. If you imagine on the if you look at where you're looking now, on the very left hand side was Gillen Shops, which is a local store. Halfway between there and where I used to live in Ambwood Walk was the electricity substation, and from where I used to live in Ambwood Walk to similar distance to the shops, on the other way, on the right hand side, was a place called Asheville Homes. Actually, it was called Happy Valley at the time. And anyway, this is the only bit you need to know for the story. But anyway, me and my friends all sat around smoking. Excuse me. All my friends were sat around smoking and laughing and being like daft little kids, as you do. And all of a sudden, from the direction of my home and the caravan site, a man walked past. And that man was, well, actually, let's go back. We were sat there, me and my friends. I'm going to disguise the name so we can protect their identity, like I said before. Stephen MacGyver, Duncan Mint, and Neil Legstrong were all sat there smoking, and a man walked past with his daughter. She, from what I remember, she must have been about 15 or 16, just slightly older than what we were. And she looked all right. She was skinny and a bit lanky, but the man was a bit, he looked like he'd been down the mines or something. He was dirty, he had dirty clothes on. He was smoking and drinking a can of Special Brew. I don't know if you don't know what Special Brew is. It's like a really strong lager. It doesn't taste very nice, but it gets you drunk quick. And the people who have got alcohol dependency problems normally drink Special Brew lager, or people who just want to get drunk for cheap. So yeah, he was walking past with that, and we weren't going to say anything. In fact, I didn't say anything at this point. But as he walked past, he farted. And oh my God, that was it. Two of my friends, I do believe it was Stephen MacGyver and Duncan Mint, as soon as he started walking off towards Gillen's shops, started shouting, "You dirty bastard, you dirty bastard." I thought, bloody hell, that's crazy, that is. Crazy. And I didn't actually get, as far as I remember, I didn't get involved with the name calling at that point. But we didn't think nothing of it then. Because as kids you just do daft things, stupid things, and then you just get on with your life. So anyway, he carried on walking in the direction of Gillen's shops, and then we decided to get up and walk towards my house. Bear in mind, it was about 2 weeks before Christmas then, in December 94. And halfway in between where we were sat and my house at Amberwood Walk, there was a fence. And if you can imagine, there was a main road going along the coast road, and a little grass dip that went down onto it. And that stretched all the way along from the main road into Clavering Estate, all the way along to actually to the caravan site, along all the normal estates until it got to Happy Valley. But anyway, I started fighting with Neil Legstrong, and me and Neil Legstrong we started fighting against it, wrestling, pushing each other against the gate. I think we were trying to find out who was the hardest or something. But as you do, you just scuffle and wrestle and just be a dick when you're a kid, don't you? But anyway, well, I did. I don't know if you did, but that's what I did. Anyway, as we were getting towards the climax of the fight to find out who was the hardest, my two other friends, Steve MacGyver and Duncan Mint, were egging us on. But the man came back from the shops with his daughter. So we automatically gave him a wide berth because we'd been called, my two other mates had been calling them names. And so we gave him a wide berth and kind of went down the grassy hill bit towards the main road. Give him a wide berth. But as he passed, I think we all started calling him a dirty bastard as he was walking past, because I don't think I started it, but I definitely joined in with the dirty bastard bit. But then people who, Stephen MacGyver I think it was, and Duncan Mint, they were saying things like, worse things than you dirty bastard. And I think that's what tipped the guy over the edge, because they started shouting, "You shag your daughter." That's really terrible. Looking back, oh my God, I would never do anything like that now. I am a bit of a dick sometimes, but I'm not so much of a dick that I get attacked by gypsies with tomahawks. But anyway, yeah, that bit hasn't yet happened yet. But anyway, so he's obviously fuming, getting called names in front of his daughter, and insinuating that he's having sex with his daughter. So that must have been mortifying for him. But even though we were only 14, 15, he saw red, as far as I know anyway. But we just carried on then. But anyway, I think we kind of forgot about it, as you do as kids. And I kind of walked towards Amberwood Walk then. My mates were with me, and I went into the house, and my mates waited outside, and I think I was just getting some Christmas food from my friends. I think I had some a handful of Satsumas and some Christmas chocolate log or something, some Yuletide log. And I came out with 4 slices of Yuletide log and 4 Satsumas. And I faced my mates, and bearing in mind my back was towards where the caravan site was, and Happy Valley. And I had in my left hand, I seem to remember I had the Satsumas, and in my right hand I had the Yuletide log. And I said to my mates, "Who wants some Christmas food?" And they all ran off down the hill towards the main road. And I was like, I looked down at my Christmas food and I thought, well, it's not mouldy. I don't think it's gone off. What's wrong with that? But then I heard someone behind me. So I turned around, and there he was, on his own, except he had a tomahawk in his hand, or some sort of hammer with an axe on the end. And I shat my pants, and he just said, "So my bastard hammer." And then, before I knew it, I was twonked around the left-hand side of the head, knocked clean the fuck out, on the floor, can't remember anything. I'm thinking nothing, because I am completely sparkoed out. The next thing I remember is waking up in hospital going like this. Like something out of Walking Dead or something like that. But I wasn't walking, I was lying in bed and I couldn't see anything. It was all black. And then it was like, I don't know, it was like a tunnel. A little light came and I thought I was going to heaven or something, but it wasn't. It was just my vision coming back slowly and slowly and slowly. And then I could see everything. And all I saw was a nurse saying, "Are you all right, pet?" And I felt my head with my left hand and it was just all spongy and I couldn't feel anything. She goes, "You've been in a bit of an accident." I was like, and I just literally puked, projectile exorcist style green vomit all over this woman. And obviously that being sick is a sign of a head injury, and I did actually have a head injury. I woke up and it turned out that I had a fractured skull, a blood clot on the brain the size of a pea, the blood clot, not my brain, and bruising on my back where as he knocked me out with the hammer, he was booting me in the back on the floor and I didn't even know. And yeah, so I was in hospital and I was in absolute rag order. And I was only 14 at the time, so I pretty much nearly died. And I think I had like some visitors, family came to see me, and bear in mind it was a week before Christmas. I think I was in hospital for at least 3 weeks. And I think I might have been in hospital over Christmas. And oh God, it was probably one of the worst Christmas. I can't even remember what we did. I can't remember if I was in hospital, but I remember being home in between Christmas and New Year. And I just remember I got home and I remember being in a bit of a bad way. And they just said to me, "Keep an eye on him, you know, make sure," that's what they said to my parents, "keep an eye on him." My dad was fuming, he was a taxi driver at the time. I think he was mentioning that he wanted to run him over in his taxi. And my mum was going mental as well. And it was just terrible. But anyway, what happened was, God, actually, I think I remember. No, yeah. That was it. So anyway, I was there, I was recovering. It was like Christmas had gone and New Year's Eve was coming up. And all I remember is that my dad was out taxiing or something, or he was looking after me or something. And I was in bed recovering and I was going to the toilet and everything and, you know, eating food and stuff like that. It's all very fuzzy, but I do remember one thing very distinctly. And you know how like the left-hand side of your brain controls the right-hand side of your body, and the right-hand side of your brain controls the left-hand side of your body? I don't know if you knew that, but it's true. Well, anyway, this blood clot that I had was on the left-hand side of my brain and it was meant to go away. But something happened to me and I started going numb down one side of my body like I was having some sort of stroke. And I had like the whole right-hand side of my body had like pins and needles and numbness. It was like, do you know when you go to sleep on your arm and you wake up and your fingers are tingling and you have to wiggle them to get the feeler back in? Well, that was all over my body. My right ball sack, my right toe, my right little nostril, even the right hand side of my tongue, so I couldn't even speak properly. And I went downstairs and I couldn't walk properly and my eye was going funny and stuff like that little drooping down like I was having a stroke. And I was like, "Dad, I think there's something wrong with me, Dad. Dad, help me, Dad." Or something like that. I can't remember. It was something like that. And he shot himself. He carried me like a little baby and threw me. I don't think he threw me. He placed me in the back of his taxi and he took me straight to the hospital. And oh God. Yeah, I went back to hospital again. This time they put me on a drip and they said to me, and they gave me another brain scan, and they said to me, if your blood clot in your brain was the size of a pea and now it's the size of a watermelon. No, what a fucking melon, Jesus Christ, my head would explode. A walnut even. So it had grown from the size of a pea to a walnut, and it was putting so much pressure on the left hand side of my brain that it was causing the right hand side of my body to go all numb. So it must have been pushing on some sort of motor sensors or something. Anyway, so that's what they said. They said, right, we put you on this drip to reduce your fluids. And if this doesn't work, we might have to operate. But at the time, I had this tube up my dick. It was like, they call it a catheter. And what it is that, so you don't have to get out of bed, you can just have a piss in a tube. And I can't really remember them putting it in, but I just definitely remember them taking it out. So I was there for about 2 weeks having this medication through a drip. And they said if that didn't work, basically they were going to have to drill a hole in my head and suck it out. Not my brain, just the blood clot. And I thought, bloody hell, that sounds a bit dramatic. So yeah, I was in there, and all I remember is the little nurse saying, "Come on." This was the worst bit, getting the catheter pulled out my dick. She was like, "Come on, this might sting a little bit." I was just like, okay, whatever. just get on with it. Well, I wasn't that brave actually. I was probably shitting myself. But anyway, I was like, okay, just do it, okay. And I was like holding onto the side of the bed like this, going, oh my God. And she pulled it out really fast. And I was like, oh. All I can describe it is like a pain and sort of like a pain inside your penis. Like someone had like ripped a bloody knife through the bit you piss out of. And it was like a cold knife. Oh, I can't really explain it, but yeah, that's what it feels like. So guys, don't get catheter. So I guess the moral of the story is don't be a dick and, be nice to people. Don't call them dirty bastards and that they shag the daughter. And you won't get nearly died. You won't nearly die because of a blood clot in the brain and a hammer injury and a fractured skull. But that wasn't even the worst part of it all. The worst part of it all, after about 2 or 3 months, I'd like kind of made a full recovery. I was probably about 89%. I'm probably only 89% now, to be honest. I think sometimes my speech, I still stutter and stuff because of it. But and I struggle to get my words out, believe it or not, even though I do podcasts and stuff now. But yeah, I would never dream of like doing that now. So I suppose in a way he taught me a little lesson. But the worst bit, I'll tell you about the worst bit at the end. But what happened was I was meant to get £15,000 from the Criminal Injury Board, where we all went to court and stuff like that, and all wore suits and stuff like that. And I think his lawyer said to him or his solicitor said he was saying, oh yes, I'm a family man, I play Monopoly, I don't normally do things. I don't know if he admitted to it. But he kind of got off it on some sort of like loophole because all my mates ran down the hill and they couldn't. Apparently, his defence was saying, "Oh well, they can see what happened. How do we know this happened?" Blah blah blah. So I ended up only getting like 1,500 instead of 15,000. So I think I ended up pissing it up in raves and just wasting it all away. So that was a complete waste of time. If I would have known, I probably would have bought Bitcoin in 2009. But yeah, who knew, eh? Anyway, the worst bit was I actually eventually went back to school. A little bit more tea there, and I don't know if like the universe was playing a cruel joke on me or what, but this song called, well, I won't even tell you what the song is. I was going to play a little sample now. You can't touch this. You better get a hype, boy, because you can't touch this. Ring the bell, school's back in. Break it down. Hammer time. That song was You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. So all the kids were just basically going, hammer time to me. Great. So I'm back at school and like normally, say if I was like in my job now and that had happened to me, my mates would be like, my workmates would be like, oh Jimmy, you alright, you've fully recovered. No. School kids, hammer time. So yeah, that's the cruel fate of being a dick, really. I suppose it was the universe punishing me for being a dick. But yeah, I did learn a valuable lesson from that, and I'm still alive now, 42. Try not to call people dirty bastards or nasty things like that, and get on with my life and be like a semi-normal. Well, I wouldn't call myself semi-normal. Like a nicer person than I was when I was a kid. And he did teach me a lesson. I think my dad did try and knock him over in his taxi, but I think he already just bumped into him and like give him a fractured hip or something. I can't remember what he did. I don't think he hurt him much. But yeah, I suppose if it was my son, I'd probably go mental as well. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to sign out here. I am going to be making some more. Oh, do you know what we forgot to do this week? We forgot to do the Western pause. It's not actually a Western pause. Basically, it's my musical instrument with my hands. Remember Marlon Jeffries who taught me it? Hello, Marlon, if you're not watching. But we'll have one at the end instead. And after it, I'll tell you like an important message. So here it is. Just try and guess the song. That was Somewhere Over the Rainbow by I don't know who, but yeah, that was it. So yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, or leave a comment and tell me what you think about it. Do you like the podcast series? Let me know. And remember, always remember, if you did like this, and if you saw me in a coffee shop or a pub and you thought, oh look, there's 100% Jim there with his 100% Real podcast, I think I'll buy him a coffee. If you would do that if you saw him in real life, wouldn't you? Why don't you go on patreon.com/100% Jim and, donate me the price of a coffee or a pint a month? That would be totally amazing. And one day I might be able to do this full time and actually manage to get videos out every single week. but I will be doing some more videos. I will be doing some more VR videos and some other bits and pieces. I'm going to tell you another little bit about myself as well before I go. I have been watching. How long have I been going now? It's not even that long, really. I have been watching videos on YouTube about digital nomads and van life. And it's kind of turned me on a bit because I don't actually own a house. And I've got an idea that I've got like some sort of financial plan where in the space of between 6 and 8 years, I'm going to save up enough money for a van and a conversion. I leave my job and I live in and continue my YouTube and everything else like that and live like a digital nomad in a van with a solar panel on the top. So yeah, I might talk about it in the next podcast. Well, it's either going to be that, consciousness, or aliens in the next podcast. So if you like any of those ideas, please make sure you listen to episode 4 next time I come on, hopefully next week. And I love you all, and remember, always stay 100% real and stay 100% Jim. See you later.